So today we're going to get a little bit more in depth with some of the different editing you can do in Photoshop, or for us, we're going to use Photopea on your Chromebooks. Start by opening an image that you have saved on a computer, and then you will open a second image if you'd like to copy and paste. Here I have a picture of Danny DeVito, and I'll show you some selection tools that you can use to move things around. So the first one being this object selection tool. I don't really know how to work this. It might work better on different images, but it looks like you just kind of drag and click and it's selecting different parts of his face. It seems kind of hard to control, so I probably wouldn't use this one. The next one I'm more familiar with is this quick selection tool, and it's actually pretty nifty. You can just like click on different areas. You can go up to the top and hit minus, so that'll help you like deselect certain little areas. You can go back up to the top to the plus and be like, no, actually I did want that selected. So the quick selection tool works pretty well. I would recommend messing around with this one. Here I'm just messing around a bit more. I'm trying to get just his head and hair selected because I'd like to copy that onto the koala. So I will hit Control C and then go over and Control V. I'm going to hit the eyeball and get rid of it for a second because I want to show you some other options. Another one, the magic wand tool. You may remember this from when we did the little checkerboard. It's not really great unless things are super graphic, like the checkered image. The lasso tool you can also use, and it is just kind of a freehand kind of tool. It's quick and easy, but not very specific. And then you have the polygonal lasso tool, which makes straight lines. That could be cool if you have something geometric that you'd like to copy. It's also quick. And then the magnetic lasso tool. So this is another one I would recommend. It just clings to similar pixels. So as I go around his hair, since it's so different from the background, it's just clinging right to it. Sometimes it doesn't go everywhere, so you can go back and click to force it to stop at a location. So definitely mess around with the magnetic lasso tool. So now I'll copy it over here, and then I'm going to turn the eyeball back on the other layer, and using my mouse tool, I will move them apart. And you can look back and forth and see which one you like. So I think I liked the quick selection tool best here, so I'll delete the other copy. And then I'm going to go up to the top toolbar and use transform scale. Hold shift and drag from the corner and make his head smaller so that it fits the koala better. And remember, when you're using transform, whenever you have something the size you want, you have to enter. All right, now I'm going to do free transform and kind of rotate his head a bit. And then you can use your eraser tool. If you go up to the top, you can lower the opacity, and you can also change the size and hardness of the brush. So basically, I want to kind of soften these edges, make his hair a little bit more blending in with the gray of the koala's ears. If you hit Control Plus, you can zoom in and get a little bit more detailed. And maybe I would make the eraser smaller if I wanted to get even better here. I can also go Edit, Transform, and Warp. And then you can just grab these little individual circles and move things so that they fit even better. So mess around with the different transformation options here too, since we haven't really so much. Just really experiment and explore with this assignment. Okay, when things look the way I want, I'm going to flatten the image because I'm actually going to copy this into the next one. So you go layer, flatten image, and then I'm going to open a third image, a background, to copy these into. So you may recognize this location. I'm going to put Danny DeVito koala into the dairy cottage. So I'll try different things here. I was messing around with trying to select the background, and then if you go up to the top and hit select inverse, you can just select him, but it didn't really work. So here I'm using the quick selection tool again. It's getting confused though with this image because the koala has grays in it and so does the background, so I struggled with that a little bit. Remember, when you're selecting, you can always hit Control D to deselect if things, if you want the dotted lines to go away. Or edit step backward is always an option. So I think I mess around here a bit more with hitting the minus and plus, trying to get specific with my quick selection tool. In the end, it's just not really working for me, so I end up going with a magnetic lasso selection tool. And remember, if things are kind of not working perfectly, you can always click on a location to set an anchor point for the magnetic lasso to adhere to. So I think I have to do that a little bit with the ears on this koala. And then you can always, after you paste things, go back in and zoom in and kind of subtly blend and erase. For the purposes of this assignment, things don't need to be perfect, but you should try to get them as good as you can. Once you get back all the way around, you might need to double click the anchor point to get the dotted lines, and then Control C and Control V. Now, as you can see here, my Danny DeVito koala is much larger than the dairy cottage image, so you'll have to maybe do edit transform, and then when you get it the size you want, hit enter. And I think he would look better at an angle, so I'm going to do free transform and rotate him a little bit. Yeah, there, he's looking good. And then I'm going to zoom in and again use my eraser to blend this a little better. So smaller size, I can up the opacity if I need to because I put it down lower before when I was trying to blend his hair. So I think I will go back up to 100. And then here with the eraser, you can just do click, shift, click, shift, click, and that'll go in straight lines. It's also better than just freehand erasing large sections because then if you mess up and you do edit step backward, it undoes all your work, versus if you try the click, shift, click, it only undoes the last little spot or distance that you erased. So I will try to do this quickly because this demo is taking a while, but once you have things looking good, mess around with some filters. So I'm going to click on the background layer, make sure that's selected so that this filter only affects that layer, and maybe I'll just go to like image adjustment, hue and saturation or something and go crazy. You can try adjusting the levels, you can posterize, and then I'm just going to go up to image or filter and mess with the filter gallery, and there's different options here. You can also adjust the individual little adjustment bars, see how it looks. So there we got Danny DeVito koala inside psychedelic dairy cottage. You can mess around with text if you want to add words. The fonts on here aren't great, but could be fun. And then you can also maybe add a filter or something to your person. So select your person layer and then maybe go to filter gallery or try these filters that are just down below. So maybe I want a color halftone on Danny DeVito. Looks pretty crazy. I don't really love it, so I'm gonna X out of there. But maybe it would look cool if it was just a little bit. So if I duplicate the layer that my figure is on and then I apply the filter, I can go up to the top above the layers here and lower the opacity so it's just a little bit of the filter. Also, it's just always a good idea to duplicate layers. That way, if you like do edit step backward a million times, you still have it unedited. So if you're still working, file save as PSD. If you are done, file export as JPEG. And remember, save frequently. So additional daily instructions are in Canvas. Have fun. And let me know if you have any questions.